I gotta get this one done before the pool cruise starts being really loud. But this is some interesting analysis and contrast that Gorlick Bread put out last night.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for a video I wanted to do, but I actually changed how the concept of this video would be because I wanted to make it less about Chantal and more about Jamal. And a lot of this is, in my opinion, almost like the video thumbnail suggests, kind of a stolen valor-esque approach, where Chantal is projecting she's putting in all the work, she's doing all the effort, but she's not actually doing that. And how do we know that? Well, these images here from Perfectly Imperfect pretty much showcase this. So this is Chantal claiming to be 350.5 pounds. And I want to just show you a few years ago, Chantal at 399.4 pounds. I'm going to show this back and forth a couple times so you can get a perspective, but it seems to me, right, if we're to believe our eyes, there is no way that there is a 50-pound difference here between these two images. So how does Jamal come into all this? Because, like I said, I don't want to completely focus on Chantal. Jamal is very, very refreshing. Okay, first of all, Jamal used to play football, so used to be a professional athlete, doesn't want to share too much.
I think that's a really important thing to consider in this story is that because he was a professional athlete, he already has workout strategies and dietitian type strategies and stuff like that. He would need less instruction on how to do a diet plan than Chantel would because I don't know that she's ever done sports like ever, right?
Of that with the audience, but nevertheless, it is there. Moreover, he will come out and say that this isn't the first time he's attempted to do a weight loss issue on YouTube and that he's tried this, never really been successful to completely follow through, and it's fallen off for whatever reason. He actually shows that doing this is the definition of insanity, just over and over and over. So here's a current video of him. Now, the way he does his weigh-ins could not be more transparent. He actually puts the camera on the bathroom sink, films down, shows the actual scale so we can see the number of 545.9 pounds, and then also asks Siri what the date is. So there's no doubt how this is being done. He also measures himself, and it's interesting that he chooses to do that because he understands, the camera can be deceiving, but he wants to make sure it's clear how large he is. And he wants to make sure that everyone realizes he has a substantial journey in front of him. And he actually says, listen, it's time to lose this extra weight with a near 7.
I think it would be helpful if we knew his height. That would also be helpful in this scenario. Because one of the things that my boyfriend and I have talked about in regards to these folks that are struggling with eating disorders and um, morbid obesity is that having that kind of additional weight around you, um, regardless of height, is going to put a lot of pressure on your heart. Kind of like if you happen to be a tall person, your projected lifespan is going to be shorter than, regular heighted people because it is more difficult, especially with gravity, for your heart to pump all that blood through your body. And so it takes a toll on you over your lifetime, even if you're thin. But this guy, it looks like he might have been a linebacker at some point. He was definitely, I imagine he's quite tall, right?
72-inch waist. Now, as I said, he was successful in the past, and he shows a little bit of this. He says he was down before 87 pounds. 412-pound difference from where he is today, and that's what he's using to motivate himself to do this again. But the difference is consistency. The difference is posting every single day. And he also accepts that this is going to be a challenge. He owns it, essentially. He says, listen, there's going to be days that I might just show 20 seconds on my weigh-in because there's good days and there's bad days, but there still has to be accountability to each day. And so far, 16 days in, he's done just that. He says this is the heaviest he's ever been in his entire life. And he recognizes in his early 30s, if he doesn't make changes, changes are going to happen for him in the worst of ways. He's also kind of a funny guy, too. He's done some really cool skits. And he set a realistic goal for himself. The goal is actually without surgery. He wants to do this on his own. Got himself there, wants to get himself back. 195 pounds. So obviously that's a very, very tall task. But he says he's going to try a couple different approaches. Fasting, OMAD, one meal a day. I think this probably sounds familiar to you, given the subject initially covered here. But I will say, he's came out and been realistic with his approach. So day one, you can actually see Siri didn't give him a date. He lost 9 pounds in a day. And he did this through a dry fast, which he did not recommend anyone do, but he felt comfortable given his size doing. And he actually even offers that, listen, even though I've lost 9 pounds, you're not going to have any visible difference until 50 pounds come off, if not more. So don't expect to see any results at such a low number. Again, compare that to who we're used to talking about saying the differences come after just 10 or 15 pounds. Now, this is the soft dry fast, if you will, which was basically just a combination of salt and potassium, not drinking food, water, anything. And he did this because his back has been hurting him. And he knows with his back hurting, it's going to limit what he can do. Going to the gym, going for walks. So he needs to combat that. And what he's done is actually put himself in a position just to walk through his home, just to clean his home. And he admits, listen, for a guy his size, as we all know, just doing these household chores is going to be exercise in and of itself because he's having to move that amount of weight. So not particularly that I wanted to completely come on and cover, but I did want to use this as a reference point to, again, someone that is unapologetically coming online, not having any excuse.
Yeah, exactly. He's not saying, I can't clean my house, right? He's literally doing it and realizing that it's going to be a workout for him. But, I mean, that's what makes sense. Like, you gotta keep your house clean. I have a hard time keeping my house clean, too, because of the nerve damage in my leg. I don't have a weight problem, but I do have a movement problem, right? So that's another reason these are very interesting channels to me, because especially Shakara Luna, I think is her real name, listening to her exercise strategies and stuff like that, because I'm struggling with movement, right? And I eat very little because I know I'm not burning any calories right now. And cleaning my house is a challenge too, but I do it.
For what's happened, had an athletic background, and just merely put themselves in a position to be in poor health, in poor shape, and gain a lot of weight. And recognize that this is no one's fault but their own, and no one is going to help them out of it but themselves. And has found the best way to do it is to use social media, use YouTube as a tool to hold themselves accountable, to share their journey. Every single day, he's posted the current weight against the initial weight with pictures. It takes a lot of swallowing one's pride. It takes a lot of confidence to even put yourself out here this way. But it takes even more to know that you're doing it to have others look at you and hold you accountable for your actions. Because it's easy to sit there and say, this is what I want to set out to do. It's quite another to sit there and actually follow through. And in watching some of his videos, he's very much held true. Some of the videos are only just, here's my weigh in, have a good rest of your night, this is the current weight that I'm at versus my starting weight. I'm exhausted. But it was so refreshing to look at someone say, what have I done to myself? What have I kind of let happen? How did
Well, and it's really challenging, I think, for athletes who have built up a lot of muscle that once they get out of their sport and they're not in the gym every day, oftentimes muscle will turn to fat, and it creates a problem that way.
I lose my way. He actually posted some videos of him just a couple years ago, around 190 pounds, with very well defined figure, very muscular, to the point that honestly, if you looked at those images versus now and you didn't have any context, you might not even know it's the same person. And that's what he's striving to get back to. A realistic.
Yeah, on the converse of what I just said, muscle also burns fat. So if you're building muscle, it'll burn fat. That's why there's so many debates in athleticism, fitness training and all that, about whether or not you should be doing cardio or should you be doing weightlifting, what should you be doing. And really, you have to get a personal plan from a trainer, because it depends on where you are health wise, what your specific body conditions are, and nobody online can just tell you how to do it.
Approach of this is not going to be done overnight, because it didn't start overnight. This is going to start with me with a lot of different plans and steps. But ultimately, this is something I have to put in the work to do, and I want to share the work with you to properly inspire others. And to see him go through the same exact systems that the other person has and actually see results. To actually have someone come on and say, you know what, this is on me. It was really, really refreshing. And honestly, his success to me is directly connected to that. He's not wanting to take the easy out. He's not wanting to sit there and blame everyone else. He's not wanting to sit there and really even have more of a relationship with his viewer other than, here's my journey, here's you watching, here's your support. He actually thanks his subscribers. He counts them. Every single video. That's how important it is for him to grow a community, because he knows, in part, I'm sure, his success is tied to the people that are watching him. The people that are going to be there, that are going to leave comments, that are going to uplift him, that are going to help him through the tough times, but also champion him on the accomplishments. So I would really encourage you. I'll put a link down in the pinned comment. You don't have to say that I recommended it, but I just wanted to offer to you. If you wanted to see something that is a stark contrast from what we're used to seeing, not just in the fact of someone being true to themselves, honest with themselves, and accountable, this is the place to go. And I certainly hope that in a month or two, I can make a follow-up video and show incredible change from where he is today to where he started from to where he's going to go. And to that point, I'm not even going to bog this video down with the top comments from the last video, because he doesn't deserve that. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching it.
So, Gorlick Bread also did a video this morning kind of following up on this conversation. And so I'll cover that as well. But first, I'm going to take a look at this link that he says is in here. I don't know why all I got here is the store. I'll see if I can find it myself, and if I can, I'll add it to the description. But let's go back. So basically, Gorlick Bread also did this video this morning.
Do you think you get enough fruit and veggies every?
What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. This is probably going to be quite a long video. I can tell you, in my lifetime of creating content, I've only sat down and said I should probably open the book maybe 5 times. And today I said, you know what, I probably should sit down and open the book. And for those that don't get the reference, I'm just here to talk to you about a lot of things that don't specifically fit into a video. But but still I feel should be said. So the first thing I want to say is our community gets beat up a lot. You guys listening to this, other creators, when I made the video yesterday, I felt that I owed it to Jamal to a degree to keep my video directed at his content. But I also wanted to give some behind the scenes and some context. So I'd been watching a couple channels just to ensure that the person that I was going to look to cover was genuine, was consistent, at least to my perspective. The last thing you want to do is start covering someone and then they just don't follow through. To that point, there was a guy I was watching, and I wanted this guy to stay on track so bad. He was in the grocery store, okay? He's doing this healthy haul, and he's pushing the cart, and he's getting the fruits, the vegetables, all the good stuff. He is out of breath. He is sweating buckets. He's having a conversation with himself that it...
Hey, I can't really do the grocery store anymore either. It is very difficult for me to go to the grocery store and pick up more than just one or two items. I can't go down all the aisles anymore like I used to, because it's too difficult for me to walk through the store. So I get this on a different level. I don't have a weight problem, but I have a nerve damage problem. And trying to make it from the produce section to the open checker, which is on the entire other side of the store, is difficult for me. So I get where he's coming from. I don't think I end up sweating buckets out of it, but I definitely experience pain and muscle trauma from it.
Is recorded by the phone. It's just there. And you can really see as he goes outside, he's having a heart-to-heart with himself. And there is an embarrassment, there's a humiliation. And he's to the point where he's coming to terms with the fact that he can't walk around without sweating, without being out of breath. And he uses it as accountability. He uses it as motivation. And he actually says, in the past, I would have had this happen and say, well, that was my workout for the day. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to go and complete my workout in addition to that, because the store isn't a workout. The store is a chore. He also, one time, didn't have his gym bag. So he gets done work, he goes to the gym, he's in his, business slacks. And he says, before, I would have said, well, I don't have my gym bag, I'll pick it up tomorrow. He goes into the gym in his slacks, says, look, I'm not dressed for this, but here it is. I'm going to go through my workout, going to be accountable.
It's very easy to interrupt your workout routine by little things like that happening and end up never going back, or getting a cold, right? So one of the things that you have to be very careful of if you're working out in an actual gym is you need to make sure that you're using the hand sanitizer, that you're wiping everything down. And in this day and age, you might even want to just wear a mask while you're working out.
At that point, I think everyone should at least try to start covering someone else so that you can see as a viewer and we can appreciate as a creator the differences in how people approach their health. Because I'd actually planned for the video to be very much different. I wanted to kind of show one person's dedication against Chantal's resolve. Because if you look at it, they're at vastly different ends of the spectrum. But what happened was the Taco Bell video really sealed Chantal's fate. So from my position, as a creator, I'm sitting here, I'm watching, 3 to 4 different channels. I'm trying to storyboard something out that hopefully, is entertaining, but also isn't creating an unnecessary conflict between two people, not dragging someone into girl world, because God knows how that could end up.
Yeah.
No living up. And then I watch her with a double quesadilla and fries and a Pepsi. And that goes against her diet, but more importantly, goes against her beliefs, her big boycott. And then in the video, she starts to target other creators in the space. In the process of that, she kind of starts degrading her viewers about who they watch, who they support. And I think to myself, how much hate does this woman give back to the community, to those who simply react to her? I would offer a lot of us, myself included, don't really offer a lot of ill will. But at the same time, we often don't make content about her that we just delete and hope it goes away. Chantal does that to everyone. She'll make a community post, she'll make a video, and then a few days later it'll be gone. And I thought to myself, what did...
Yeah, I think the difference here is that Jamal is focusing his videos completely on his mission, whereas Chantal is a drama channel. She just wants to suck us into her life, into her, like, supposed romantic life, and all of these unnecessary distractions, rather than making this a goal, a journey of, this is what I want to do. She could be positioning this as, everybody around me is supportive and I'm going for this, and some days I have bad days and some days I have good days, but she doesn't need to sit down and show us the bad days. She doesn't. Did I hit that right? No.
Does this come down to? And I think ultimately it comes down to appreciation. I would imagine both myself and Chantal have made over 6 figures on YouTube. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we're going to, either one of us, be back to those 20,000 months, because they're long gone. But, I can think back when those months were there, it was like a dream. I mean, I would wake up every day and I couldn't comprehend the views. I couldn't comprehend the money. But I knew as it was happening that it wasn't going to last. Because YouTube is going to YouTube, right? They're not going to constantly put your content on the front page. They're not going to constantly push every single creator. Everyone gets their turn. And then those that stay with you, stay with you. In the midst of that, though, me personally, I honestly made it a point to respect the people watching me. Even still to this day. You are the ones that are signing the check. And when you see Chantal just treat her viewers like they are worthless, like they're replaceable, when you see her treat the people that react to her as if they're criminals, when in reality, I firmly believe, at least for myself, most of us went to Chantal at some point and offered her friendly advice, best intention advice. And
well, I've definitely included advice in several of my videos of just simply, if you enjoy singing, you could join a choir. That actually is really good for exercising your lungs and, getting more oxygen into your body. And you seem to enjoy that. So that could be plus you might meet people, right? Swimming, but you seem to have a lot of excuses for not wanting to swim. But you could absolutely be swimming. And you don't have to wear some sort of revealing swimsuit. You could get like a full bodysuit and swim in that. Then you're, covering your whole body. It's all good. I'm sure they have a swimming cap too that probably, like, from what I remember years ago, there was some debate about people swimming at the beach with a specific head thing on that was for Muslims, and because of the street sweepers going by. But it became a news story because they were getting targeted for hate, because I think it was in the aughts, and people were still riled up about 9/11 back then. But But I know there are um, outfits that you can get, and yeah, you might have to like get a custom outfit, but you totally could. And yes, a lot of us have given you actual advice about like, hey, make sure you're eating more fish and chicken, like your doctor said, and cut out the red meat. And he told you not to eat eggs, so that's probably because you have a cholesterol issue, right? And shrimp is high in cholesterol as well. So that mukbang was also bad. But basically, like, you don't have to look at all these things and be like, I need this right now in this moment. I need this food. Like the Taco Bell, like the candy bars, like the cookies. You don't need to do that.
She refused it, which is okay. But it didn't stop at her just refusing it. She had to label us, a hater. And then she had to, with many of us, go on and project that we're haters. And it's not just other creators, it's a lot of you. A lot of you as viewers have been mentioned by name. I know some of you aren't going to agree with me on these next two sentiments, but that's okay. I don't think anyone personally hates Chantal. I think you hate her actions. I think you hate how she's treated her pets, her friends, her family. But I don't know that she's really personally impacted anyone to the point they hate her. Maybe some of you, but not the majority. And
I don't even think her biggest rivals actually hate her. I think that they're disappointed, right? Disappointed in the lies, disappointed in the deception, disappointed in the life choices, and would like it to be a happy story arc, and it's just not happening.
also don't think, at least myself included, we want to see her lose her health in life. I know for me, I'm just collectively fed up with her wasting it. I know this is going to sound really cold-hearted, but
I am telling you, these are...
But I've lost a lot of friends while covering Chantal. I lost a really good friend that had a family while covering Chantal. And I cannot help but think how much his family would want just a single day back. And then when you sit here and you watch someone come online and have zero regard for their life, when you look at her family, just allow her to give in to every vice, and then just lash out at everyone in the process. I feel like a lot of times it's her family kind of turning the blind eye to it. Let her do whatever she wants to do so they don't have to be burdened with her. I think that's why she spent so much time in the Kia when she went back to Canada. I think that's why Sal is so eager to just let her order whatever she wants. And then in the video, she kind of openly questions while people watch. And Chantal, people watch because we're vested. It has nothing to do with you. You're just the one filming. I guess to be frank with you, you're a bad movie that we've been sitting through. And every time we think it's going to get good, or we think it's going to turn around, it goes back to the same old, same old. And I can tell you personally, what I found, at least with this channel, is that I'm not alone in that mindset. I can come here just about every day, recap a video of hers, and almost share a collective shrug with everyone that says, well, we've devoted this much time, gotta see how it ends. And when you think about it like that, Chantal, you have taken what was a very devoted and supportive fan base, and you've almost allowed them to be broken out into groups that support other channels more than they actually support you. And if you think about it that way, I can't even come up with an analogy, right? It would be like a cover band that's more popular than the band it covers. It would be like a sports writer becoming more popular than the team or the league it wrote about. It defies logic that these things can happen. But to be fair,
Chantel, also, Shakara did a video on your mukbang this morning, or no, it was actually your walk in the park this morning. And first of all, what you did there with the push-ups was incredibly dangerous. Secondly, your body was not straight. Your waist was bent and your legs were tilted inward. So that is not real push-ups. Like, anybody who thinks that you actually got a workout out of that is doesn't know how to do push-ups. But Shakara did a video this morning that suggested that if you're not very good at it, that what you should do is start by standing upwards against a wall and working on your form that way, so that you're just pushing against the wall first, and then you, as you progress, you go to inclined positions. But you have to keep your body straight when you do it. You can't have your waist bent like that and your legs tilted in, because you're not getting any workout through that.
still thankful every day I have a place within that group. So all of that is kind of rolling around in my mind. And Jamal posts his update. And I saw his commitment, I saw his desires, and in that video, to me, it was the Nate Diaz response to Chantal of, you're taking everything I've worked for. And to be fair, you don't always know the response you're going to get to a reaction. Maybe the creator isn't ready for an influx of random people. But to see him gain subscribers, to see him go in and thank each person that commented, to have him come back to me and thank me more than once, and then look back in retrospect and know how much we get talked down to, know how much of a community is told you're just negative, you're a group of haters. And then you see the comments on this man's video. All of the things that we get broad brush with. And yet there is not one person mocking him. There is not one person making fun of him, disrespecting him, degrading him, judging him. But he's also not...
He's not adding drama to his channel. He's not talking about how his relationship sucks and he's been cheated on and he has all these things that he needs to worry about and he's having an emotional day. When he has a bad day, he just does a weigh-in and that's it. He has a bad day, that's it, right? He's not dragging us into his personal drama.
Being there with one hand full of excuses and the other full of anger. His responses to everyone were genuine. Thank you. A sincere appreciation, a pride that people are there to hold him accountable. Wanting that. The man wants more people to hold him accountable, to make positive changes in his life. You truly get the feeling that the people that are going there, he is seeing as an asset, not an accuser. And to be honest with you, that's where I guess I'll leave this, because it seems like a fitting place to close the book, which rarely ever gets opened in this way. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoyed the video from yesterday. I'm certain he's going to come out with a video, and I look forward to, obviously, not being in the position to cover him every day, but I'll make a commitment to him. As long as he stays on the path, I will set at least a video a week aside to cover him And honestly, like I said back in the beginning, I would really hope that there's other creators in this space that just look for someone else. You don't have to completely change your channel overnight, but just to introduce someone else. And Chantal also pretends that we depend on her. And that's just not the case. I believe that Chantal's life is far more ingrained in YouTube, the internet, having a channel than anyone wants to believe. And I feel like so much of her as a person has been lost because of the person that she projects herself online, whether that's through, filtered photos or images, or literally just pretending to be a character that she isn't. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you.
I really much appreciate your analysis, Garlic Bread. And I will definitely share your links and try and find where Jamal's channel is, because I don't know what his last name is, and I don't know how to find that, but I'll see. Like, you said it was in your descriptions, but it doesn't look like it is. So, I'll see if I can find him online, but I agree with you. It'd be nice to follow positive weight loss stories where people are actually trying and they're not dragging their drama onto the channel.